Hello and welcome everybody to this Azure Synapse Espresso. I'm joined here today by Stefan, which means we're going to talk about serverless SQL pools. And Stefan, you've got a treat for us today. Can you first please introduce yourself and tell us what you're going to talk about today?
Hi, Stijn. Hi, folks. I'm Stefan Azaric. I'm a program manager working on Azure Synapse Analytics, Serverless SQL Pools. And today we're going to talk more about the SQLPackage and DACFX support for Serverless SQL Pools.
Okay, basically this means that we now can finally deploy our serverless SQL pools DBs to different DBs?
Yes, correct. So with this support, we can move our database and all database objects from one environment to another. So starting from development environment to staging environment and then up to the production environment. And this can all be done with two commands that are now supported. So extract, which is doing extraction of all the database objects, and then the publish command, which can publish all the databases and database objects to another environment or to the same environment if you want to do that on another database schema. Let me show you that. So here we can see our SQL databases, and here we have an example for the Open Dataset database where we have one external table here. And we are going to extract this external table and all the database objects that were needed to create this external table. And we're going to see how does this look in the CLI. So our first command here would be SQLPackage, action extract. We have a target file where we will say the path where we want the DACPack to be exported. Then we're going to define a source connection string. And there we have multiple types of authentication that we could use. Here we're going to use Active Directory, interactive authentication, and we also have a possibility to use a SQL user here. So we could specify SQL username and SQL password. And we also have a connection string where we need to put the rest of the endpoint names and the initial catalog, which is database name. So let's run this command. So now I have a pop-up which asks me to confirm. We're going to do that. And now the SQLPackage is extracting the schema and everything that needs from the database. So now we're going to take a look at the publish statement. So we select the action publish here. Source file is the DACPack that we created in the previous step, demo export.DACPack. Then we're choosing target connection string, authentication type is Active Directory, and the data source in this case is the same endpoint. We could also use some other endpoint, some other serverless SQL pool, and the last parameter here is initial catalog, so the target database that we're going to use, and I named here Open Dataset _ staging. Let's execute this command. Here again, I have a pop-up to select which account I'm going to use. I'm using this one. Okay, now once this is complete, we can go back to the Synapse Studio and check our new SQL database. Here we have Open Dataset _ staging. This external table is shown here, and we can do the select up 100 and check if that's working. And as we can see, we're getting query results, and this is successfully done. So this was an example how to move all database objects in the database from one endpoint to another, or to the same endpoint and just create other database with that name.
Awesome. So this basically means we can now use SQLPackage to extract and publish serverless SQL pool DBs and move them between environments, moving them from one DB to another DB, or applying to a new DB or an existing DB, basically allowing us to move those databases between dev to test to acceptance to production because of that SQLPackage. Awesome. Now, if this was the first time you're visiting our channel and you liked the video, just give us a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of these types of content, we've got loads of videos on Azure Synapse Analytics here, so just subscribe to this channel. And if you have any comments or remarks or questions that you have, just write them in the comments and we'll definitely get back to you. As always, from the Synapse Espresso team, this is Stijn.
And Stefan.
Thank you for watching and bye.
Bye.